Edinburgh show going? It looks like it's going really well.
It's going swimmingly, babes. Life is great. No, it
Great.
isn't. It isn't.
It
Shit.
isn't.
Well, no. It's going absolutely fine. I'm excited about I'm not changing the subject, but I am excited about the and just like that and stuff. It is a nice escape, isn't it? Like, genuinely.
It is. It's good fun. Shall we do the opening titles?
Yes.
The Spontaneity Shop presents The Guilty Feminist Watchers and Just Like That, the Sex and the City Reheal, with me, Deborah Frances-White, and my very special guest, Alison Spittle. Season 3, Episode 4, Apples to Apples. So, Alison, welcome to The Guilty Feminist Watchers and Just Like That.
I'm delighted to be here, Debs. Delighted to be here. My favorite hate watch is now turned into like something familiar, and I don't hate it anymore. But I'm compelled.
Oh, good. This is what I like. I like a compelled fan. I'm just going to do a little recap.
Please do a recap, Deb. I watched it last night, but I'm unsure.
Okay. In this episode, Carrie stays in Virginia with Aidan and his 3 sons, his ex-wife and her boyfriend, and discovers that domestic life is fraught and emotional, and she doesn't really have a place there. Big surprise, Carrie doesn't fit in Virginia. Miranda is hoping to ask out her British colleague Joy, but instead accidentally says cunt on the BBC and becomes a meme. Charlotte's daughter Lily declares herself to be dating a pan-poly ballet dancer, while her husband Harry fears he's losing his libido like his father, and then discovers his dad is up all night to get lucky. Siva quits her job in a Jerry Maguire move, while Lisa hires a male editor who's clearly too hot not to cause trouble. So, what did you think of this week's episode, Alison? What did you think, first of all, of Carrie's storyline? She stays in Virginia. She's got no luggage, so she's got to go down to a local dress shop called Daisy's by Daisy and buy what she calls sister wife clothes, sister wife dresses. She goes on a quad bike on her own.
She goes on an ATV for a mile. It was there was a lot of plumbing here to get Carrie into a Ruffly shop, you know? And
a Ruffly shop.
She was so defensive as well. They were like, why don't you just go to Target? It's an hour away. And she's like, my favorite swimming costume is from Target. It was like they accused her of saying a slur or something like that she was like, no, I am not too good for Target.
That would be a paid placement from Target, Alison.
Do you think so? I was thinking that because
100%.
Not to brag, Deborah, I've been to New York. I went to New York last year and I did visit 3 different Targets, and I was like,
Did you?
Yeah, I'm absolutely on the M&M store. I visited that as well.
Wow.
So I was glad to see some Times Square representation in this series of and just like that. I did feel seen as a tourist virgin. So very, very, sorry. But this whole, what do you think of this whole, I love your takes on the fashion. There were some of the dresses in that store I would have bought, but I'm a bit kooky, you know? I would have pulled it off.
Yeah, it wasn't really Carrie's style.
Yes.
Though she claims to shop at Target. I'm not sure about that. I think that was just paid for. There was also a reference to Walmart, which was also a paid placement for sure. It's like, yeah, Carrie Bradshaw gets her clothes at Target. You can too. Carrie knows all about Walmart. I'm sure those are paid placements. I felt like the Daisy's Daisy shop looked like not her thing, but the way Carrie can pull off anything, she can find a way to make it hers. So I felt like, especially the first dress was a bit ludicrous, but that's Carrie. Yeah. She'll find a ludicrous dress and wear it with a little bit of panache.
Yes.
The second dress, the white one, I thought was really beautiful. And I loved that she was wearing coloured underwear underneath, that you could see through the dress to the underwear, because I thought that's so on the old brand and Sex and the City. That,
I mean, to say that she wouldn't have pulled off ruffles, like she was, it was strange. It did seem like, oh, is Carrie fashionable or is Carrie just very rich? Because like there's people that have style that can pull off anything or go into a shop and find something. They're like, Carrie has worn a hat that makes her look like a little crab living in a conch shell about 3 episodes ago. And that she couldn't pull off ruffles, to me, felt very, very strained.
Yes, exactly that. She can make anything work. We've seen her in ridiculous ruffles before.
Oh.
And we've seen her in the park back in Sex and the City in a dirndl with plaits in her hair. Carrie can do anything. She likes those moments. I think Carrie loves the idea of, oh, who's farm girl Carrie? Who's gingham Carrie? Who's,
Yeah.
I mean, it's veering into trad wife, what she was wearing. She did make a joke about it being a sister wife shop. But I liked the second dress on her, the white one. And I just loved, it reminds me of, I've seen her before where she's got wrong underwear on or a bra underneath that's sort of, the straps are sticking out. And it looked like she didn't have the right pants for it. But I went, yeah, that tracks. But I thought she looked really beautiful in that white dress. I really loved that fashion moment, this Virginia fashion moment. And I quite loved that they lent into it rather than having her loll around in Prada.
Yes. It was interesting to me that, like, this the mistake that led to Carrie not having any of her own clothes was done the day before. They had to drop off Seema to the airport. Clothes could have been picked up. They'd realized that the luggage was gone at that point. Like, anyway, but that's one of my favorite things to do while watching And Just Like That, is watching it and going, but why didn't they do this quite simple thing? But then the whole episode wouldn't work.
They don't work very hard to bury the wires. Bury the wires there's an exec I work with in America who always says bury the wires, which means don't let the audience do that work, hide it better. And I think they're not very good at burying the wires. They just go, because we need plot. She doesn't have any clothes.
Totally. They're like a very badly reviewed restaurant that just leaves the gravel in the salad because that's what's expected of them. Do you know what I mean? And you, as a customer, are like, there's gravel in my salad, but I am eating at gravel salad arroz. Do you know? It's just we come to expect it.
100%. So how did you feel about the storyline that she gets sucked into that world? Aidan saying, please make an effort with Wyatt to bond with him.
Yes.
So she goes, what do they call that, where you go in virtual reality shooting at each other, killing zombies?
Yeah, this was, I kind of really loved it. Number one, Aidan, you get to see Aidan in his home environment with Carrie in a prolonged basis, which made me realize some stuff about Aidan. Is Aidan an anti-vaxxer? Like, he's not into, like, genuinely.
Oh my God.
I was watching it going,
maybe.
This man he's a bit of a himbo. He doesn't believe in Adderall for his son. He doesn't believe in lubricant for his phone wank the other, where I saw him lick his own hand artisanally. Sorry, Deb, I can see your face.
I'll never get over it. I'll never get over that. There was no need. There was just no need.
I want to make that into a GIF and make it my email signature, like, yeah.
I will literally never get over it. So you think he doesn't want medication for his son and his wife does. You think he's an anti-vaxxer, basically?
I do. I think, and he talks to Carrie when he's in his home environment with Carrie, his accent is a bit weird. Do you know what he's acting like? He's acting like a comedian who's moved to Austin, Texas to get in with Joe Rogan and is now all of a sudden yucking it up and is a bit more homely and stuff. We're like, I keep watching it and going, Aidan, you lived in New York for several years of your life. Like, please, like, why are you acting like and also you've had a very long.
He does seem less sophisticated, doesn't he?
He does,
than he used to be,
and he kind of revels in it. But I kind of I love the episode. I'm a child of divorce. Love the politics of it. By the way, Carrie, if you're gonna stay over, like, have a shower. You don't need to tell the sons of the guy that you're having a sexual relationship with that you're too smelly to hug them. They are going to think of their dad railing you. There's no other. I know it's like you didn't have.
Oh my God.
Like, that's all I was thinking of, was like, just please wash yourself. Or, you know, I
That
just,
didn't seem very Carrie to be worried about that, or to have not had a shower and just sort of, I know she's lost her deodorant. That was what she was worried about, but it didn't seem very, very Carrie-like to me. Maybe she's
no.
just trying a bit hard. Did you feel like the whole storyline about the games? They were playing a games night, and then Wyatt got angry and stormed off, and then threw a brick through a window,
Oh my
and
gosh.
the whole family started fighting like it was a Tennessee Williams play. And she was like, "Yeah, I'm out of here. You don't want me here. You have to be here. But we're still going to be together, but only if and when you come to New York.
Yeah.
Here's a key. Let yourself in. But that could be never." And I'm like, this isn't a relationship for her. I don't understand why she just doesn't say, "Look, we got to call it a day, and I'm going to see other people."
Definitely. I mean, you only have one life to live, and it seemed ridiculous. And this whole uh it was interesting, the kind of dynamics of the family. The eldest son coming back and kind of, uh scolding Wyatt was very interesting to me, because the eldest son is not, he's 21, he's not living in the family unit. And it did kind of like remind me of the way I was. Like, I was an eldest child, and I would, if there was a row between like any step parent in my family and my sisters, I would be like, "Oh, you just have to," I would give them advice that I didn't really care about because I wasn't living there. It was interesting. Carrie, when she got hit in the VR area, when little Wyatt hit her in the side of the
Accidentally
temple.
shot
Oh,
her. Yeah.
accidentally. And like, she took that like a footballer trying to take a penalty. I was just like, you're in a VR place, you got hit in the side of the head. You're fine. And it's this weird thing of like, if Aiden gives her any bit of affection or attention, she forgets everything. And it seems like kind of silly to me. There was one thing I was going to say about this whole, the guy that's the stepdad who's going out with Aiden's ex-wife, very
Yeah.
charismatic.
Kathy's boyfriend.
Kathy's boyfriend, yeah. Very charismatic. Kathy really should have told Carrie, that Aiden isn't into the ADHD thing.
Which she totally would have, I think. I think she would have said,
Yeah,
"Look, I want some meds, but I'm going to run it by Aiden, but if you could just bring them, and then we've got them on." So I just don't think. Also, I don't really believe that Carrie would have not texted Aiden and said, "Oh, I've got the meds that Kathy asked for."
definitely. Because
It's all a bit TV land.
because she loves being like a little Dorothy Parker, and she would have had loads of puns on drugs. Do you know what I mean? She would have probably tried to role play it or whatever. With
She
Aiden.
would have had Ritalin. Yeah, I've Ritalin a new column this week. I'm a drug. She would have had all sorts of mule puns for sure, because she was joking about it with Seema, and she would have texted him and gone, "Oh, tell Kathy I got the the pills."
But the thing is,
But
Aiden is
anyway,
not.
I mean, it's a TV show.
Yeah,
She didn't.
Aiden is not a funny man, and he never really gets Carrie's jokes. And I just find it strange that like Aiden,
He does dad jokes.
yeah, he does dad jokes, and it kind of makes me like, he's not into medicine, and he's also not into smoking. He's a bit of a, this is a man who wants to kind of control the substances of all his loved ones,
Mm.
and
What a great Easter egg.
yeah,
That's a brilliant Easter egg.
thank you,
Alison, I am dead impressed, because normally I'm the one who finds those and I ask questions and I go, "When did this happen?" I have got some of those.
Oh, please,
But I
give
didn't
it to
see
me.
that. Yes, he tried to control Carrie's smoking, and now he wants to control prescription drugs
Yeah, and
for his son, which is, I mean, it's valid worry to go about your son going on prescription drugs if they've had a substance abuse problem. But I feel like, yes, it's coming from that place in his character. That's a great point. Can I ask you,
Yes.
what do you think about Miranda's plot this week?
Wild cunt.
She wants to ask Joy out.
I'm not getting any joy from Joy. The only joy I got was from the wild cunt tree mention that Miranda had. It was a strange kind of like piece. And Joy is a producer. I was just flirting away with Miranda, and I was like, we got 30 seconds to go. And it's like, Joy, you could have been a bit more professional here. Like, could we talk about, like, so basically what happened was Miranda was doing a piece to camera for the BBC and said wild country, and then someone clipped it out, and it became a meme. I love the interaction between her and Brady. It's nice to see that the children are alive and doing well. Brady was kind of cosplaying his like bear life. It was interesting because Brady comes from a lot of money. Like, he grew up in New York. His mother is a high-powered individual, and he's working at a fast food restaurant. And he seems a lot more calmer and at peace. And I think that's a nice thing. I'm happy for Brady. But like, and he was having a bit of fun with Miranda. Like, that relationship for me was really great because I was watching it with my partner, and he was saying like Brady is doing this thing of the child actor's job, which is to not really be seen that much, but help with kind of pressing home that a thing has happened. So yeah, but with Joy's friends are the worst people in the world, and if I was Miranda, she's the right insufferable. If those English people came around to my house as an American, and she's like, it's Carrie's house. She's living in Gramercy Park. Can I make another point? Quick one. Miranda told Carrie that, she was going to invite a love interest round. Carrie got a bit weird about that. And I'm like, is this like, is it because she's very upset that like Miranda got fingered by Che in her house and is now haunted by that incident?
Very probably. And also she thinks I'm not having sex there.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
She's barely had sex there. I think Aidan's only turned up once.
I know.
So she's like, are you going to pop the cherry of every room in my house before I have? That's what she's thinking. But that's true. I'd forgotten about the prudishness around.
Carrie's a little prude. Carrie's more prudish than
she is a prude.
Charlotte.
She is a prude. Having said that, remember when she wet herself?
Yes.
Because Miranda was shagging in the... That, to be fair, was unpleasant behaviour on Miranda's part.
Absolutely.
What about Charlotte's daughter Lily declaring herself to be dating a pan-poly ballet dancer at the table?
Yeah, it feels to me, it feels to me like Charlotte's children exist to bring, like they both, so it feels like they solely exist to go, Charlotte, these are like, I am living this different lifestyle, right? And Charlotte works...
They exist to be Gen Z alphas, don't they?
They do, but Charlotte works in art with Gen Z alphas. Charlotte was like, avoiding doing cocaine with a Dutch guy last week. So it's funny how, like, she's a character now that can no longer really be shocked because she's lived a life. So they have to add other people in the mix. So we've Harry's grandfather, we've Harry, and Anthony was there, and Giuseppe. How much brisket?
Auntie and Giuseppe are always there. They come for brisket every Friday night dinner. That's their thing.
The loaves and the fishes. There must have been genuinely so much brisket at that table, and like, yeah, I think it's fine. I've nothing like it's because these are Gen Z. I'm like, okay, that's cool. That does have, and the granddad. Was there that much of a tension, or was there that much of a relief laugh, or what's? I mean,
nobody seemed to really mind.
No, so then I was like, okay, not to be like.
I thought it was quite odd at the table, though. I will say,
yeah,
I think it's an interesting storyline, given it's a very contemporary thing to be pan and poly. Not that it is really, but it's just a new framework for it, a new label for it. But I just don't know that you would say it at the table in front of people's parents and grandparents as an introduction to it. I think you'd let Lily say, oh, Mum, just so you know,
totally,
we're open. To say it in front of the grandfather, it does seem, I think, now is this me being prudish, and please tell me, and I'm sure the listeners will write in and tell me if I am.
I was brought up Catholic. I'm not going to help you on that.
It just feels a little... It's like it's a personal thing. If she's brought this boyfriend home and he's also got a boyfriend, feels a little personal to be kind of blurted out at the Friday night dinner in front of the grandfather and friends of the family. Is that me being prudish? That I would think it's a little impolite because you're not meeting people where they are. You're almost trying to shock them in their own home. Is that me being conservative and old-fashioned? Probably.
No, it isn't, because I feel the same way. And if it, like, it's like, the way I feel about it is your relationship with your mom as the daughter, as anyone, is to kind of like, there's someone in your family that's the PR person that is going to, spread the word about something on your behalf to the rest of the family. The one that can like make it better, you know, if I was Polly, I'd tell my mom, and then I would let my mom explain it to my grandparents, and then I'd let my mom explain it to her. You know, it'd all be I that's the way I think families work. But like
Also, it's not Lily that's Polly, it's the boyfriend. Does
yeah.
the grandfather need to know that the boyfriend is Polly? It just feels like, I know that it's a TV show and it's
Yes.
trying to kind of explore contemporary issues, but I felt like I wanted to see Lily discover that. I wanted to see Diego say to Lily, listen, I'd love to go out with you, but I also have a boyfriend and I need you to know that. And her to go, oh, that's interesting. How do I feel about that?
Yes.
Rather than it being like, here's an issue on the table.
Absolutely.
Like, you know.
Or to go to Lily, like,
'cause
I'll meet your family, but you got to tell them I'm Polly. And then for Lily to like come to terms with like, because you can be comfortable with something, and then you're like, but do I tell my parents about this? And it's that like, that would be interesting. I think is that kind of like
yeah, like, why do I have to tell my mum and dad? Can't you just be my boyfriend? Or, you know, I'll tell them in my own time. All of that is kind of interesting. Or her saying, I want my mum to know, and him going, that's kind of private. Like, you know,
totally.
I think all of those things could be kind of interesting drama, but I feel like it's just sort of blurted out at the table is just like, we've said the buzzwords.
Totally.
We said Polly.
Totally.
Interesting. He said polysexual rather than polyamorous.
Yeah, which is, I don't know, that's like, I need to get on TikTok more and stuff like that. Like, there was a thing, I thought maybe, what if Harry saw Diego with someone else and then was trying to be the protective dad, doesn't confront Diego or anything like that, but like, you know, him and Charlotte have this big conversation about, do I tell Lily? How do I tell Lily? And then they tell Lily and Lily's like, no, it's fine, he's Polly. Like, we're Polly. That would have been and that would have been, you could have done a bit of comedy there. I don't know. Like, I feel like
that's a good rewrite.
Why I love listening to this podcast is like the rewrites. It's like, I feel like a little quiet person in the writer's room going, yeah, I agree.
We're going to do the writer's room in a minute.
Oh,
we're going to do the rewrite room. We're going to do the rewrite room. But first of all, Seema quits her job and does a Jerry Maguire move.
Over that. Not to be like, I like.
She kind of quit it last week. It's the same move as last week.
Exactly.
Last week she went, fuck it, I'm moving forward. This week, the guy comes along and goes, will you work for me? And she goes, no, I'm moving forward. I told you before. And he goes, well, get out then. And so she goes, bye.
Yeah.
And so it's exactly the same storyline as last week. Lisa hires a male editor who's clearly too hot not to cause trouble. So this is a bit of she's prevaricating and speaking in her sleep.
Yes.
Her husband says, just hire the man. It's fine. He gets it. He's you know, it's a show about black women. He's black. He's not going to not understand the world. If he's a good editor, yeah, I think you're fine. But he clearly doesn't know how hot this man is.
Yeah, and like Lisa, by the way, best outfits of the week for me. But like talking about yeah, it is that he's hot. This whole sleep divorce thing. Lisa's a high-powered woman, and she gets so head up over such small things. She lives in a multi-million-dollar apartment, and she's worried about her and her husband not sleeping in the same bed and this sleep divorce thing.
For a couple of nights, it's so mad. And she's like, stay awake, splashing water on her face. I'm like, there is no woman operating at that level who doesn't prioritize a good night's sleep over her husband sleeping in another bed for a couple of nights.
Absolutely. And also, like, the way that she was trying to stay awake by throwing water on her face. Why not doom scroll, Lisa? Why not just go on to Instagram?
Do what the rest of us do.
Exactly.
And doom scroll. I almost don't want to get into the community group. I didn't really understand that. The Charlotte and Harry are on a community group and he doesn't want to give anyone else his bananas. I don't care.
Yeah.
I also find it very difficult to care about I'm not getting an erection because I think my dad's not getting erections.
Yes.
Pop's got porn on his iPad.
Can we talk about that? Can we talk, like...
I'm like,
the only thing I'm concerned
about... Why am I
about...
watching this? And just like that, I wondered, why am I watching this?
Right.
I don't care about it. It's awful.
Yes. Yeah. Like, let's go. Like, number one, I was concerned about Harry's erectile dysfunction because, as we've seen in the series of And Just Like That, he is packing a hog And I was just worried about the weight of that flaccid penis just resting on Charlotte's leg. Like it's because Harry's got a big dick, doesn't he? Or am I misremembering and just imagining? Like, what's the if you are thinking about your dad's erection and you don't get an erection, that's very understandable and fine. You don't need to go for medication yet. You can.
It's true. Just thinking about your dad not being able to get an erection is very much the thing that is going to kill your own erection.
Absolutely.
It's a great point, Alison.
You
are banging out these points today.
You don't need Pele to make an advertisement to go, "Hi, I'm Pele. Sometimes I think about my dad's erections." And that's a reference to
oh my God.
Rock is
I'm dying.
Rock is so I'm really mad at Rock. Rock is a rat. Rock is a little snitch. If you find pornography on your grandfather's laptop, you just step away from that. Your grandparents are allowed to. I sound like such a.
I think you are victim blaming.
So heated.
You are fully victim blaming. If Pop has said, "Oh, my laptop doesn't work," and he knows there's porn on it, and then it gets given to an underage grandchild, he is to blame.
No.
And that is traumatic.
I don't care. I had to put 50 Shades of Grey.
Please direct your emails to Alison Spittle and not the Guilty Feminist.
I have been, please do. I have been the tech person for a lot of older people. And I have seen what people have Googled and everything like that. You just don't, like, it's not, they don't, old people.
What have they Googled?
What, like pornography? Like, you type in R, it's like, it is what it is.
You type in R and then the rest of the word comes up.
Exactly. It's not like someone's given me a laptop with like a video paused on someone getting railed. But if you look, it's happened. And like the way I think about it is, I'm really surprised. I had a visceral, angry reaction to it because, like older people.
How old is Rock though?
I don't care how old Rock is. Oh, let's. Do you know what? Let's
have to care how old Rock is. I'm forcing you to care about how old Rock is. Alison, this is a bad steer.
Do you think it's a bad steer?
Seriously.
Let's see.
Yes.
Older people don't know how to like stop a pop-up coming up on their laptop or anything like that. It's not like the grandfather has done. I don't understand. Like, am I wrong? I just don't blame the grandfather. He wanted technical help. And unfortunately, Rock has seen
I guess he didn't give it to Rock. He gave it to Harry and Harry gave it to Rock.
Now, there we go. Number one. And
Rock complained to their father, not to their grandfather. So they didn't embarrass Pop, but they said, "Dad, don't give me Pop's equipment again to fix. You should fix it because Pop has porn on there." Harry, far from being devastated and like, "Oh my God, poor Rock," is just thrilled that his father is still getting it up because that means he is not going to lose his erection. That is a weird storyline. I'm sorry. It's a too weird storyline.
Yeah, there is too much footage of Harry thinking about his father's erection. Like there is. Genuinely,
I do not like it, Sam. I am.
3/4 of that episode of Harry's screen time has been him imagining his father's erection. And like the way I think about it is like, if I was cleaning out my grandparents' garage and I found pornography videos on it, I wouldn't go straight to Dad and go, "Dad, look at what your dad is looking at." You would just burn him. Do you know what I mean? It is a bit. It is.
Oh my God. But you are a woman in your 30s, right?
Yes. Yeah. Definitely. And
I do think it's different when you're a teenager. And also Rock is they're all on the surface Rock. They're very just who they are and very gauche still. What you see is what you get with Rock. So I cannot blame Rock, who's still a teenager. What I will ask now.
Yes.
Yeah, go on.
If I was Rock and I was 15, I would do a story time on TikTok about finding pornography on my granddad's iPad. I wouldn't tell my parents.
You'd start that my dad wrote a porno TikTok.
Yeah, I would be like, it would be called "My Granddad Looked at Porno Once," and I am the tech person.
All right. Enter the rewriter's room.
Yes.
Here at the Guilty Feminist Watchers, and just like that, we'd like to say what we would have done differently if we'd been in the writer's room. So, as you know, Alison, I think that the old school Sex and the City, having a theme and having Carrie doing a voiceover, did a lot of heavy lifting on some sometimes quite lightweight storylines. So what I do is, in the first instance, is I pick a theme that I think works, and then I write the links, the Carrie Bradshaw column links. So this week, I have picked a theme, and this is my Carrie monologue. Woke up and found myself in Virginia in a sister-wife dress, and I couldn't help wondering, did starting over at 50 mean we were all fish out of water? That's my theme, fish out of water.
Beautiful.
Then she goes, meanwhile, back in New York, Seema had a confrontation with a real estate shark and left the building, worried she'd now be a small fish in the big pond that was Manhattan. Downtown, Lisa was wondering if she should hire a fish out of water and integrate him into her female aquarium.
Ooh.
Back in Virginia, I actually went real life fishing, but I didn't get any bites. And also, I couldn't get Aiden's troubled son Wyatt on my hook. I'd have more luck with wild salmon who weren't even in the river. And from wild salmon to wild cunt.
Hey!
Miranda tried to impress her new love interest, but ended up gaping like a goldfish and turning into a meme. Ultimately, Miranda decided, where it came to romance, it was time to fish or cut bait. She threw out her line one last time, and joy was reeled in. Meanwhile, Charlotte was dealing with a very awkward family dinner where Lily's new boyfriend revealed for him there were plenty of fish in the sea, as he was polysexual. While Harry was worried his swimmers might be giving up, but just when he thought his rod was done for and his tackle was no good, he discovered there's life in the old cod yet. As for me, I finally realised, as hard as it would be not having any firm future with Aiden, even if I had to throw him back and let him swim free, I'd fallen for him hook, line, and sinker. And that is my fishy thematic reach. So these are the segues, and I think it really makes sense. Like they called it, like what do they call it? Something about the game cards. Apples to apples. But I think the theme was clearly fish.
Yeah,
fish out of water, plenty of fish in the sea. Even there were even little things like Seema walks out and tries to do the whole Jerry Maguire thing, and she literally references Jerry Maguire. And the famous thing about that scene in Jerry Maguire is he takes a goldfish out of a fish tank and holds it up in a bag and says, Flipper and I are walking out of here. Who's coming with me? And that's when Renee Zellweger goes. When Wyatt shoots her in the head in the VR place, easily, sort of like shooting me in the head was like shooting a fish in a barrel. There were so many different things that I saw popping up that felt fish related. That's my move to try and link it together. Any rewrites you would do?
I think what was interesting to me about the episode was that Carrie, it would be so different for Carrie if Aiden had daughters. I feel like Carrie would be a good stepmother to daughters, but just cannot really talk to young men. Like, this is the way I look at Carrie. Carrie would be the type of stepmother, she wouldn't hug you, but she'd definitely pay for you to get an abortion. Like, I feel like that would be, she'd be the cool stepmother who would help you out, who's got an incredible house in New York, You'd have a great time.
I think she would also, if he had a daughter, she'd take her shopping. She would introduce her to the right people for her career. You're right. She's stumped by sons.
Yeah, she's stumped by sons.
She doesn't really know what to do.
No, there's no charm. There's none of her wit can help with these, especially Wyatt. Imagine smashing up your dad's house over Jennifer Lawrence. Like, it was such a it's
so true. It's so true.
I feel
and like literally throwing a brick through the window.
I know.
I mean, it's terrifying.
There's an escalation.
Terrifying.
I understand why, in the way I'm very competitive. I'm a horrible person when playing board games. I remember once I had a birthday and played the pointless board game with people, and I did end the night by apologizing to about 4 different people for my behavior over the Sugar Babes round. So I do understand. I wasn't even drinking. I was just mad. So like, we've all kind of, for me, like with Wyatt, I'm like, I understand the competitiveness. And I also do, as a person who did have parents kind of date when I was a teenager, I do get it, like that kind of thing. But now, yeah, it was. Do you know what? I'm really happy the episode existed. I think it's really, really interesting to explore dating and blended families and everything like that. Like that was really good, and I feel like these types of episodes with and just like that, like for me, kind of make me feel like and just like that is very valuable to have. Like it's not like a repeat of it's not see. I think why Seema doesn't appeal to me that much, or Charlotte's storylines at the moment is like there were and Lisa, if I'm being frank as well. Like I think Carrie
Being
is
brutally honest here.
Carrie's my least favorite character. But her story is the most compelling at the moment because it's like a movement and stuff. And with Seema, with Lisa, it's and with it's kind of like they have these work things that I've seen time and time before, where it's like a high powered, a high powered businesswoman is maybe having to go out on her own and do her own thing, like with Seema. And I'm like, okay, that's cool, get it. And then Lisa, I mean, the Lisa one could be exciting and could develop more. But the Carrie thing, we're in the reads at the moment. She should really break up with Aiden, but there's probably going to be a few more juicy little episodes. And I get it, but like the relationship is dead and they should just leave it.
Yeah, I'm slightly like they're dragging it out. I just wish they had. If I really could do any rewrite I wanted,
bring back Che. That's my rewrite. Bring him back.
Well, your insight on Che was the best one. That it was just the writers taking a piss out of dating a comedian. That is definitely. It was such an insight. But a narcissistic comic. They'd all dated a narcissistic stand-up comic at some point.
Yeah.
I think what I would do, I would have had her dating Aiden come back into her life, but she's not sure if she wants to go back or forward. And there's another man. And because Aiden can't really commit to coming into New York or have her in Virginia, they've agreed to see each other when they see each other, but to be open. And of course, that's bringing up infidelities of past relationships with big before, but also it's allowing her to be in this quandary of forward or back, or can I juggle all of that sort of stuff. And how is that different in your 50s? And I think that would be interesting for me. I'm enjoying Miranda exploring her queer self. I think that's interesting.
Yes.
I'm enjoying that. I am enjoying that a lot more than I was enjoying the Che storylines. But just, dating, shagging a nun.
It's wonderful.
I find meeting someone in a bar, thinking someone's hitting on you, and then it turns out they're your old babysitter. Like that's great stuff.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying that. I don't think Seema and Lisa have a dramatic purpose. I was talking about this last week yet. I don't know who they are in the argument, where they're sitting. But I'm more interested in Seema than I am in Lisa, because I think Lisa is, as you said, happily married, very wealthy, has her children, is very successful, and therefore her problems are very minimal. It's like, oh, my husband wants to sleep in the spare room because I'm talking in my sleep. My diamond shoes are too tight. It's like, oh no, of all the millions of editors who would want to work with me, which do I choose? And I'm like, you are literally one of the most beautiful women alive. Like, she must be one of the most beautiful women alive.
Yeah.
She's got such striking beauty. Her clothes have been made by angels, handcrafted by angels. Yeah. And I'm like, it's really hard for me to care deeply about whether you get one of the best editors in the world and which one you get. And oh no, you've got one of the most handsome men in the world who also wants to edit for you. And clearly there's going to be a frisson late at night and your husband's going to get jealous. I'm like, I find it hard to care. And I sort of wish Charlotte were exploring more existential crises as well, really. But yeah, she's become very comic relief now, Charlotte.
She has. But it's like Charlotte has become, like, when Sex and the City was in its prime. So Charlotte's character was so funny back in the day, because she had these ideas about what she wanted from life, what kind of husband she wanted. There were stringent beliefs that were always being tested and tested. But now we've spent so long with Charlotte, uh, everything has been tested, and she has changed as a character, and she should, like, because she lives in New York and she's lived a life. And I get it, but there does need to be something else. With Lisa, I think Lisa needs to be baby girled, like, real hard by the editor or someone, and there needs to be, like, maybe there's going to be a storyline where Lisa has these sexual desires. There's something that's going to come out. Maybe she's into kink or whatever.
When you say baby girls, do you
Baby
mean that
girls.
Nicole Kidman movie
I do. I mean,
where the man's telling her to get on their knees like a dog? You want to see
something.
Lisa baby girls? These are the most controversial opinions
Do you think
we've ever
so?
had on any version of The Guilty Feminist since records began.
I do think
You want to see Lisa baby girls?
I do because
Literally. Alison, you've just victim blamed Rock for
No.
coming across their grandfather's porn. You are now
it's
going to say you want to see Lisa baby girled
it's the
by a younger man or by her husband?
by a younger man, by someone else that's not her husband, and then that affects the husband's race for politics. Like, it's got to be like something. Like, I think it would be really interesting if they, as a couple, they put forward this kind of like front facing, I'm a high powered documentary maker. He is a politician. And then if she does something to deviate from the, is she kind of like, I watched the documentary Anthony Weiner, the Weiner documentary again. It's like 10 years old, and it's Huma, and Anthony Weiner is a guy who runs for the mayor of, and he's a horrible sex pest. So I'm not, like, stuff has come out about him in, after the documentary, but he does have this compulsion where he's like sexting people that are not his wife. And his wife is a high powered, like, lady that, like, works with Clinton. And he's ruining her career just by his compulsion and on her staying with him. Like, there's nothing,
Wow.
she hasn't done anything wrong in her professional life in any way, but it's affecting her. And maybe there's something that Lisa does in her private life that affects her husband's political life. There could be something. Maybe baby girl is the wrong thing. I'm trying to think of, because I don't think that, like, there would be much to destroy a political career any more than there was 10 years ago. Like, 10 years ago, you could destroy a political career by sexting or by tweeting a picture of your boner by accident, which Wiener did. There's got to be more, because everyone gets shamed now. There's not much more. There's not much that can affect someone's career with shame.
Listen, you've said it now. You want Lisa to have a baby girl fetish and bump into what was the name of the handsome man in Baby Girl? He was gorgeous.
Harris, is it? He's got a dick in his name.
I didn't find that movie very hot.
No.
I didn't find that movie very hot. I was like, they never really got to it. It was very vanilla kink. Now, that has brought us very neatly to Easter eggs.
Beautiful.
So I'm going to ask you some questions here. There was a scene where Aidan's elder son turned up. He was there with his elder son and introduced elder son to Carrie. I said, do you remember Carrie? Right. When in Sex and the City OG did that same exact thing happen?
God, I don't know. That's totally gone out of my brain. You got to tell me.
Aidan introduces his elder son to Carrie in a classic Sex and the City. I'm going to give you a hint. She has just run away from Berger when she runs into Aidan.
Right.
Do you remember this?
No.
There's people shouting now at this podcast. People at home going, it's when this happens. She doesn't think she looks her best. She obviously looks amazing, but she doesn't think she looks her best. And that's why she's run away from Berger. She comes around a corner. She sees Aidan with his back to her. He turns around, she stops, and then he turns around, and what does he have strapped to his front?
A baba. Is it?
Yes!
Okay.
And that baby...
It's the son.
And that baby, he says, this is Tate. And then why is this exactly the same scene? Because he says, I call him...
God, I don't know. You got to tell little baby Tate.
He says, I call him Tater He says, I call him Tater because he looks like a potato because he's bald. He's a baby. And this exact same thing comes. Tater is now 21 and he says, hey, Tater Tot, he calls him.
Lovely.
And he goes, I think I've grown out of that name, Dad. And he goes, you remember Carrie. And so and he's sort of hugging him. So it's a bit like, oh, he's been strapped to the front of him. So my friend Nat Behensky, who was on the podcast last week, reminded me of this when we chatted about it because I'm in Australia. I think that's a classic moment. And Kathy was also nearby. Where was Kathy in that scene?
I don't know, Deborah. I don't remember this scene at all.
She was inside an interior design store and he said, guess what? I married an interior designer. What a cliche am I?
Yes. Okay.
And so Kathy was right there, but we never met Kathy at that time.
We never
met her.
They should have given Tate a receding hairline. You could have that in your early 20s and it would have been a lovely, pardon the pun, but full circle moment by having Aidan have a bald son now.
This is why we should be in the writer's room.
Yeah.
And she says, there's the date, and he says we should have coffee together. And as she walks away, voiceover in her head, linking voiceover says, there's the date you know you'll never keep and the date you just can't wait to keep. And she decides to go off and see Berger, even though she thinks she's not looking her best. And she does, but she says we'll never keep that date, but she has kept it. She's kept it to the extent where 21 or 20 years later, because that baby's under 1, she's keeping that date. Where have we seen Carrie play a board game before?
Sugar. Oh, this is gonna kill me.
It's in an episode called Games People Play.
Oh my gosh. Wait.
She plays a board game with a man.
Does she play Yahtzee?
No. Oh, well, maybe she does, but I don't remember. She plays a board game with a man and she is wearing iconic yellow shorts.
Okay. I'm just going to go through different board games. Is it Cluedo? Is it Monopoly?
No.
Is it
It's physical. It's a very physical board game.
Twister?
Yes.
Hey.
And she plays that with who? With whom?
I'm going to guess Berger. The big.
No, it's John Bon Jovi. She's met him at her psychiatrist's office.
Oh my gosh.
That's what's called Games People Play, because it's that sort of psychological games. Joy says she doesn't want to come back because she's meeting her friends later. Then when she leaves, she just leaves as if she's not going to kiss her goodnight or there's not going to be anything here. Miranda calls it and says, hey, I thought we were going to get together. I think you don't want to get together with me now, but I really think we should try because I think it could be great. Why does this mean there is a massive evolution from Miranda of Sex and the City? And I'm going to give you the lead up.
Please.
Because Joy didn't want to quote unquote come upstairs. Somebody has given her advice in the original Sex and the City. If he's not coming up, he's just not
getting up.
He's just not that
into you. Okay, yeah.
Yes, that's what she learns now. And maybe it's because she's with a woman. She thinks it's different. It's more complicated. Or maybe she's just evolved to think, hey, I'm going to shoot my shot. Harry was not able to manage an erection in this episode with Charlotte. Sorry?
Is it Trey?
Yes. When else has she been in a bed with a flaccid penis? Trey. But with Trey, it wasn't okay. With Harry, she's like, that might happen in the future. It will still be Harry and Charlotte. Miranda dated a man who kept the loo door open, and she was so disgusted, she broke up with him.
Who was the guy?
Do you remember that?
Oh,
he was some guy. He was only there for one episode to leave the door open.
Yes, yeah.
How does that track with this episode? Something totally random in this episode that I couldn't believe what I was watching. This Sex the City just seems to like gross stuff for no reason. Tell me, Alison.
Miranda's on the toilet with full pants down as well and chatting on the phone.
But Charlotte hadn't called her. If Charlotte called her and she was on the loo, but she was so desperate to what do you think about this meme? And she'd answered on the loo, I would understand that. She's called Charlotte.
Genuinely.
Why would you ever sit on the loo and then call someone? But it's never referenced. It's never explained. There's no sorry, I'm on the loo. I couldn't wait to call you, whatever. It's just weird.
And she was sitting on the loo with the door open as well, wasn't she? Is this Miranda's life now? Is this the...
Well, there's nobody else home. She's in Carrie's place. But why?
Yeah. And also, yeah, definitely. Why is
Have
that?
you ever got on the loo and then called someone?
Never, but I have had I have had friends. Oh Lord. I remember talking to someone once and they were echoing, and then I could hear them strain. I could hear that they were chatting, but I could hear their I
No.
swear. And I was like, no, we have to get off the phone. We have to. And I hung up on them and I was like, you need to flush, wipe,
That
and
is
then
not
chat about.
okay.
I know. Yeah.
That is not okay. I have done this. I've been in a very intense conversation with a friend, where I'm listening to their problems, or, we're having a really good discussion, and I've needed to pee.
Yeah.
So I've just muted while they've been talking,
That's
and I've
very.
quickly peed and then just unmuted. That I have done.
But I've
But
done that, and
to go and sit on the loo, it didn't seem like she was peeing. It didn't seem like it was why would you call someone? You're peeing very quickly. You just pee and then you call them, right? I don't understand why you would get on the loo and then call someone. Well, one thing Natalie Behensky said, to bring her insight back in, she said, there's this whole thing that Carrie's place has no furniture. So she said maybe that's why she was on the loo. And I was like, yes, but her trousers were down. If she was just sitting on the loo and she said to Charlotte, and I'm sitting on the toilet because there's no furniture in this house, there's no chairs, that would be quite funny. But she's just decided to call from the loo. Anyway, I thought this is really, they're doing this kind of gross stuff of Harry peeing himself because he can't get his jeans down in
That was
time, and
beautiful.
Aidan licking his palm. And I'm like, why are they giving us this weird, just kind of gross for no reason stuff?
It's because we're on
It's not
HBO,
American Pie.
baby. It's art. It's like when you watch a play and someone has their dick out, and you're like, aha! They give you that visceral kind of like, this is real life, mate. Yeah, Carrie may be walking around in a beautiful gown, but Aidan is licking the palm of his hand, and you must remember the gritty reality. It was disgusting. I can't get over that.
Everything about that, I hate. So So if I were doing it just like that, I would want a lot more Aidan in the city and another man, and options, future, back, all of that. I think you're right that she's outgrown him, that she has become more and more sophisticated and got to know herself better, and he has become an anti-vaxxer.
Yeah.
And they're inherently not suited. I don't really know what's going on here for her unless it's just chemistry.
But it isn't. It isn't even that chemistry. She had more chemistry with Aidan's wife's boyfriend. Like more, like there was more chemistry there.
I hope
Genuinely,
she runs off
I'm
with
not
him.
even
That
like
would be great.
there's there was no. I'm not an Aidan Carrie person. Like I'm a big, or that Russian guy, and they're horrible to her. But like
they are horrible to her. The Russian cannot come back.
No, I don't want them to come back. I'm just saying there's more chemistry.
She and Berger did have chemistry, and she and Berger would have been great if he hadn't been such an insecure twat. I would have rather seen Berger come back, and now he's super successful, so he's not insecure anymore and he's worked on himself. I'd rather see. I mean, Berger's probably gone manosphere, to be honest.
Wouldn't that be? But I'd love to watch that. I would love to watch that. That would be amazing.
Berger's an incel probably by now.
Big time. But
disappointing.
But he's like making his money off being an incel, and Carrie could be doing her. Like, I think next series, Berger and Carrie should meet. And I don't even necessarily think they should get back together. He could like neg her. I think it would be cool if Carrie does do the fantasy, what's that, the romantasy thing, and becomes incredibly successful off it. And then just have these like weird men negging her over stuff. It could be Berger, it could be some public intellectual. There could be like, I'd love to see Carrie's relationship with that kind of world would be very interesting to me.
I think maybe he's an incel and he's doing a kind of an awful podcast. Because remember how he talked about his wife as well? He was like, fuck you and fuck you to the thing. And then he was, I mean, she can't ever go back with Berger. He dumped her on a post-it note, but
wouldn't it be great to have the brunch pre her meeting Berger? Do you know, where like and this is where like Seema and Lisa could come in really handy. Is like they give new perspectives, and the three friends have to explain the burger situation to them because, like, we're watching the series, they're living it, babe. So they get like that. That would be a great thing for the next series. I think it's just we don't even have to meet Burger, but the possibility of meeting Burger again and Carrie retelling it, and also it's been like 25 years or whatever. I think the greatest thing about and just like that is going to be people looking back at stuff with 20 years worth of like life behind them, and they're able to recontextualize it the same way the audience are. I don't know. That would be to
Yeah.
me really, really cool and really good. Yeah.
Amazing. Now, do you have any other insights before we go?
Let me have a look for my
I think
little.
I'm
Are you done?
I'm tapped out. I'm tapped out. But if you've got any pickups, any little insights, or
Let
any Easter eggs or fashion moments,
this let's see here. I've no real pickups really, just to say like I don't understand why Charlotte's apartment building are swapping bananas when they
I didn't
are
understand that storyline at all.
yeah, do you know what? There's a lot of stuff that happens with and just like that where I'm like, yeah, this is a. Do you know what? Actually, here's my little insight. They're part of the 1%. They're incredibly rich. And I think it's and to depict really rich people is really good for a TV show in regards to the fashion. Everything is beautiful. They have access to people and all these different interesting things. But when you're that rich, there is nothing at stake. Like, I think the reason why I'm not
Mm.
like that interested in Lisa's work woes is that, like, Lisa, you're living in an apartment that costs maybe at least $6 million. Um, so
Yeah.
therefore your problems are not that big. Everyone's problems are not that
This
big,
is
and
why
everything could be fixed with money. And that's where they're painting themselves into corners here.
Big Little Lies, White Lotus have murders in them. Because it's like if you're really rich in like White Lotus is an examination of wealthy people, often with pseudo liberal values or whatever. And it's like when they get together and they're going to be ghastly. If you don't have a dead body in the mix, people will opt out. But if you do, we'll be like, oh, how are they going to handle this? What are they going to do? Are they going to pay their way out of it? Are they going to get rounded? Are they going to that it becomes more compelling? And that's exactly why Mike White does that, and all those other ones, Big Little Lies, and there have been lots of shows like that about wealthy people, but there's some dilemma at the heart. And I am not suggesting, if Michael Patrick King is listening, that you add a murder mystery plot. Please don't.
No.
But I've said it before, I've said it again, Carrie should have been down on her luck again, and that would have really added an element, but because then it's a must do. But I do think I just think, Lisa, they're going to have an appearance from Michelle Obama this season. That's what's going to have
And
to
I
happen.
don't
And obviously
care.
they keep breadcrumbing Michelle Obama so that she gets to do a turn on it. I am also struggling to care.
Yeah, it's like once
And
you
just like
appear
that, I was struggling to care.
yeah, that's it. That's it. And I do feel like that's why I'm saying like there needs to be baby girling or something. There needs to be like, the way with White Lotus. Not to I'm defending myself here, but like there does need to be something a bit mad. Carrie going down on her luck would be amazing, especially when her friends are doing all financially well. Like there is something like as a comedian, I have friends that are like way more famous than me and richer than me, and they talk to me about their problem, and then they'll apologize for talking about their problems, and I'm like, no, we're mates. It's fine. You can have a problem that a rich person has, and you're allowed
Who
to
does
talk
that?
to me about
Who? We want names.
a few.
We
I'm
want
not
names of
gonna.
rich people who complain to you.
But no,
Just
no.
give me the initials. I won't tell anyone.
But I'm happy that they are complaining to me because they're my mates and they're allowed to. But then it's the apology after. And like, what I would love, Carrie wouldn't take it well. And it would be amazing. It would because Carrie acts like she's the first person to ever get dumped. Carrie acts like anything that happens to her is the worst thing to happen to her in the world. Now, if we did have some sort of financial catastrophe, it would be amazing because I don't think Carrie would suit being not rich. I know she has struggled in the past with sex and tea, but she's in her 30s and she was like living this bohem life. But imagine having a taste of the incredible wealth that she has, and then that's gone. You're so right. That would be compelling. But how? It's not going to happen.
And then she has to write books. She has to do a podcast. She has to do a column. Just go back to a column and it's the big, like Davina McCall's podcast, Begin Again.
I got a storyline.
It's so good.
I got a storyline for you. And it'll full circle it up. You know the way, like Rock's grandfather didn't have the technical wherewithal to avoid a virus coming on their computer and pornography. Like obviously there was some, like what if Carrie gets scammed by like just one of those phone call scams or romantically catfished, you know, because there's so many people on Instagram that make up accounts to talk to me because I'm a fat lady and they think that I would be attracted to a US soldier. Like there's so many. I'm always getting I'm always getting fished for like scams all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Oh, I have great fun with it though, because I had this guy, he pretended to be in the army, and I told him to denounce America, and that's the only way that I would be romantically interested in him. And also to like
did he do it?
He did do it. It's on my Instagram. Is like I also there's all these he wanted Amazon vouchers. But what if we got Carrie to buy like, I don't know, $14 million worth of Amazon vouchers for some scammer? Like that would be beautiful. And the money is gone. She doesn't believe in love.
Wow.
It would be ridiculous, but we can make it happen. Yeah, or some.
Wow.
Yeah, she invests in something and it just goes all awry. But I would really look forward to that. I really want that actually. And then she has to stay in Miranda's house. Oh, love it.
Oh, I mean, juicy. Absolutely juicy.
And then Miranda
Carrie
gets
scammed. Michael Patrick King, if you're listening to this. What?
Miranda gets finger banged to her heart's content, and Carrie just has to take it because it's not her house. I'd love it. Sorry.
I am. Listen, I will watch your version of And Just Like That anytime. Alison Spittle, it's been a great privilege and a great pleasure, as always. Do you have anything to plug?
Oh, babes, I do. I got this show called Big that's coming to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. It's in Monkey Barrel 1 at 4:45 every day. And that is from the 29th of July all the way up to the 24th of August. I'm also got a new podcast called Magazine Party, Poppy Hillstead, that's coming out in the next month. It's where me and Poppy, it's like a book club, but for like That's Life or Chat or Take a Break magazines, like those women's weekly magazines have those shocking real life stories. And we read out those stories to each other, get listeners to send in their real life stories, and get guests on as well. Definitely want you on the podcast as soon as you're back in the country, Debs. It'd be amazing.
I would absolutely love that. And my new book, 6 Conversations We're Scared to Have, is out now. If you have not got it yet, it's available in hardback, audiobook, or Kindle. If you have got it and have read it and you are enjoying it, I would love you to review it on Amazon, Waterstones, and Goodreads, because I did a right-wing podcast that I was told was a good one to do to reach across the aisle in the spirit of the book.
Ugh.
And the manosphere have trolled me horribly and have given it fake 1-star reviews. So I would absolutely love you. I'm not asking for a fake review. If you're enjoying it or have enjoyed it, please leave an authentic review to counteract the fake ones. And also, we have got more Guilty Feminists coming up. You can review any episode or every episode. We really appreciate it. If you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, please do. It makes massive difference to us. Oh, and if you are in Perth or Western Australia or can get there, my play Never Have I Ever is on at the Heath Ledger Theatre till early July as part of the Black Swan Theatre Company's season. You have been listening to The Guilty Feminist Watchers, and Just Like That with me, Deborah Frances-White, and my very special guest, Alison Spittle. The producer for The Spontaneity Shop was Tom Zielinski. The Guilty Feminist is part of the Acast Creator Network, and Just Like That is on Max in the US and Sky Comedy and now in the UK. See you next week for episode 5.